10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got me up the coast, boy. Wanna hear the ocean roar, crash over me. Then ride it home, dance it out in moonlight. Hold me tight and don't let go. Watch over me. We are all stardust, stardust, stardust. Left behind, left to find one another, face the sun, fear no one, 'cause we are all one, we are all one, we are all, we are all one, we are all one, we are all. Pick me up, get moonshine, put me into overflow. Superstar.
Guys, sorry, I just started abruptly, and I needed to get my. Oh, never mind. Never mind. False alarm. False alarm. I'm live, Caitlin. Hey everybody. Hey, country girl. Hey, whistle. You had to listen to it. You were stressed out listening. I know, Lucky Lou. It was frustrating, right? But I think you guys came up with some good solutions and stuff, and I think it's going to be good. So thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas to you too, Juno. Thank you guys for all your amazing ideas. But I'm going to wait here a little bit and get in and why I'm doing this live. Because I need to explain something. This is kind of hard to understand why I'm feeling this way, and you have to really understand the whole thing. Otherwise, you're going to think I'm being petty, probably. And nobody's going to understand like I do this, and nobody's going to get it quite as I do. But I feel like a complete slap in my face. I'm really disappointed. That's new, right? Let me make sure. Is Jam in here? I just want to make sure that my regulars hear this. I have to wait till some more people come in here. So you haven't seen. I don't know. It's to me, it's just you guys. I am really big on integrity and honesty and I don't know. I just kind of expect the same. Maybe that's what it's wrong. I expect the same respect in return from people on this app. That does not happen. Everybody is in a hurry to try to get information before the next. And I'm just so tired of it, guys. You don't understand how I am. Oh, I'm calmed down a lot more than I was earlier, but I couldn't talk earlier because about it because I didn't quite understand what was happening. because it was put on me while I was live, okay? I get a message, and I'm good, guys. I'm just telling you, there's just something I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit. I'm good. I'm because I'm not over it at all, but the anger has subsided somewhat, and but I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm not trying to make everybody wait, or anything like that. Trust, it's not about that. I just don't want to repeat myself, guys. So, and there's certain ones I want in here. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you, Nanas. You're kind of scared. Nah. So earlier when I was live, I was obviously very stressed about my that situation, the 2-factor authentication thing that I'm dealing with, that's got my stuff locked. But anyways, I've already was stressed at that because it's kind of limited time to get this fixed. But I think you guys have really helped with the ideas, and so I think that's going to be okay. I'm thinking that's okay. That's not my worry right now. It's not really a worry. It's just disappointment. I'm so tired of being disappointed by people in this community. Every freaking time. Dude, when I was live earlier, Ryan starts messaging me towards the end of my live, okay? Let me tell you guys, when I say I have told him and showed him things that none of you guys have seen and trusted him with, okay? Yes, he burned me. I mean, it's okay. That's basically what I'm getting to. But you guys, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable watching him and stuff. My deal with him, and I'll tell you, I am the one who got him and a lot of his information, like most of it, we were in constant contact, okay? Like, I'm the one, I was the guest on his channel. I'm the one that put him, I was so excited about him talking to Fred and stuff. And okay. Well, he messages me today while I'm on my live. And basically, I could already tell that since he's talked to Andy Bernard, my issue here with it was he hurried and put that video out, guys, because he was afraid I was going to tell you guys first. And I don't like that stuff. That's not what this is supposed to be about. We're supposed to be working together. But no, he was afraid that I was going to come on here and tell you guys his change of heart. So he had to hurry, and he would not tell me. He claims he had absolute evidence. Absolute evidence is what he told me. That Andy was not on that road that day. Okay, I was like, okay, can you please show me? Because I said, I'm going to get a lot of backlash. Like, he's messaging me this. I said, can you please show me? I figured, he would at least give me because I'm like, I'm going to be the one dealing with this shit. Is basically what I'm telling him. And I was like, please make sure you're 100% sure. Because people, he's been trying to say he was at work all day from the beginning. That's nothing new. Well, he wouldn't tell me. He's like, I can't risk it getting out. I'm like, he's like, What did he do? Like, and he didn't even tell me he was doing a video. But when I saw that video upload, I knew exactly. He was afraid that I was going to tell you guys something before he did. And that's not what this is about for me, guys. I don't care. I just asked him for the courtesy after everything I did for him and everybody I connected him to and how much I promoted him. I just asked for the same courtesy. He was afraid. He would not tell me this evidence. He wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me. Said he couldn't tell me. He couldn't risk it getting out. Then all of a sudden, 20 minutes ago, he uploads a video? So that just shows me he was afraid I was going to tell it first. I just think that's gross. But, I just asked him, I said, please, before you go saying anything like this, because you don't understand. He comes in here the last few months. People like me, just some of us have been here since, the beginning. He comes in and he just starts following the case a few months ago. He doesn't understand the amount of knowledge that some of us have on this case and who we've talked to. He talked to Andy Bernard once and his boss now, and supposedly he absolutely believes that Andy is cleared and was not on the road that day. No, he didn't show his evidence. He hurried and made a video so that I couldn't come on here and warn you guys in advance that, hey, Ryan claims he has evidence that Andy wasn't on the road all day that day. Then he thought, oh, it must be because he was thinking, oh, Jody Sue was lying and trying to say he was on the. No, actually, Jody Sue has been saying he wasn't on the road that day. I don't know, guys. There is no loyalty or respect in this community. It's like absolutely unreal to me. Some of us have. How does he come in after a couple months? He's been here a couple months or something, right? Following the case. Like, I had to refresh him. I sent him calls after calls like that. You guys, he heard that the one phone call nobody else has heard. I trusted him with that, with information that none of you guys, because I can't. But I thought he was serious about getting things figured out and stuff. And I thought he was here for the right reasons. And so I trusted him with it, not thinking that he was going to, he was worried about who puts out what first and this and that. I would have never done that to him. Had he told me his supposed evidence, I wouldn't have said anything to you guys. I wouldn't have done that. That's shitty. That's so messed up. That's what all these other creators do. I would never do that. That's such a freaking, no, that's not cool. If somebody tells you something and asks you not to tell anybody, or it can't be on I'm not going to hurry and put it out before him. Yeah, so that's the dilemma. But that's not, we have some hearsay. We're back at square one. It's hearsay. We don't have I don't know. I talked to Fred about it because he happened to call me tonight, guys. By the way, I forgot to tell you, he did call. So thankfully he was able to use the phone. He's like, I freaking have sat with TBI. Like, I know he was on the road that day. He's like, he'll see. That's what Fred said. He goes, he'll see. Well, I wish this shit would have hurry up because this is stressful. Who is Andy's boss? He put it out up there, I think, he put out his name. Have you seen him between the hours of 2:30 to 4 on camera? That's what Fred wants to know too. He's like, yeah, he was at work. Fred said today also that Andy Bernard told TBI he didn't remember what he was driving that day. And he didn't remember if he was on the road that day, is supposedly what he told TBI. What? We saw him up on the internet on the panel saying, I don't know what I was driving. How the fuck do you not remember what you were driving on the day that Summer Wells goes missing? That doesn't even make sense. So, yeah, doesn't sound right, but me hearing, that's not absolute evidence. That does not clear somebody saying something. That doesn't do anything. We're back at square one. But he was worried about putting that out first. People have already put out that his boss has said this. Didn't they have only one vehicle? No. They had a truck. That usually, though, they would drive the Kia. The truck, though, the Kia would be parked at the bottom of the driveway a lot of times. And then they would use a truck to drive up and down the driveway because it's that brutal. Yes, Fred, or fine Summers, yeah. And Ryan was like, well, I'm not saying his line could have been a different day. I'm like, dude, we have talked about this for 2.5 years. Don't you think I've asked these fucking questions? Does he not realize the amount of information? Like, he's been here a couple months, and I understand you cannot trust any creators on here. I get it, because trust and believe that. I'm learning that right. I already know that. I already knew better. I even asked him not to fucking do that shit, and it just shows me the person he is. He's not, I'm just so, Listen, it doesn't matter. It's not about whether Andy was on that road that day or not. It's the fact that this has to do with the fact that as much time as I've talked to Ryan, I was the guest on his panel. I was the one that introduced him mainly to the whole community, basically, and got him. And I've shared so much freaking stuff every day. We've been in contact, guys, since the very beginning, nonstop, pretty much. Like, not the very beginning of the case, but since Ryan came on scene. But he couldn't trust me to tell me his evidence. He had to hurry and make a video so that I wouldn't put it out first. That's why I'm disappointed. And I understand you can't trust anybody in this community, but like, he knows better. I don't know. I just feel like he should know better unless he's seen absolute proof. I asked him, do not put that shit out unless you have absolute 100% proof. I said, please. It's hearsay. That's all he has. It's hearsay. Everything we've already said before. People have already talked to Andy's boss before. If he talked to me and told me about all these plans that he was doing, I would have told him already this was out. Oh, you know, and he also I knew this stuff was starting with a couple days ago. He messages me and goes, you didn't tell me, because he got done with talking to Andy. You didn't tell me, because Andy, look at me cutting myself off every single. He goes, you didn't tell me that Fred said there was monkeys out there. And I go, it's been talked about for years. See, this is stuff he doesn't know. So all of a sudden, that's what Andy was trying to tell him. Like, Fred has schizophrenia. The whole thing, you know, that they're been trying to portray this whole time. But see, Ryan doesn't know this, but I know this. You guys, many of you guys know this. So he thinks it's all new stuff. This month, I shouldn't have to tell you everything, Ryan. It's on the freaking internet. It's on, I can't. Why, it was he, like Fred said, that's been explained a million times. It's like it's been passed down from generation to generation. He just told me the story the other day that his grandparents used to talk about these monkeys that were released out there in the hills or whatever, in the mountains. It's just like believing in fucking Bigfoot. That doesn't mean that he's hallucinating. So I guess that was what Andy was, you know, telling them. Oh, he has schizophrenia. He's seen monkeys. I tried to talk to him. I tried to talk sense to this guy. Like, seriously. Well, the first time I saw the guy come on here, like, and I've talked to people privately about this because I was like really shocked. It wasn't anything bad. I never talk bad about him. I always thought highly of him. But one thing that did bother me is that when he first came out, if you guys, for those who have been watching from the very first video, he acted like he was totally against psychics and everything, and that he didn't believe in this conspiracy stuff and stuff like that, that he was a facts-driven guy. And that's what I liked about him, because I can be, you know, kind of, I don't know. I can sometimes go a little bit conspiracy, a little bit, but not crazy like Tiffany Marie. I liked how fact-driven he acted. You guys, that's why I liked him. I thought he was about facts. And he acted like he was so against psychics, he wants absolute proof. Then a couple days later, he comes out and mentions that his wife's a psychic. And talking about Donna Serafina. It's like, what the hell? You just said that I was crazy. I remember being shocked when, you know, when he came out with his wife being psychic, because I was like, I thought you were against that stuff. But I was like, maybe it wasn't a big deal, okay? So I was like, whatever. But this shit, you know, when he wouldn't tell me, and I explained to him, guys, I tried telling him over and over again. I explained to him why this was important to me, like why I needed to know this supposed evidence, and why, you know, he shouldn't just go saying things like that without absolute proof. But suddenly he's talked to the Bernards, and it's like, I don't know. He never got a chance to talk to Fred until today, because I was like, Fred. They did talk through the chirp thing before he lost it, but they never talked on the phone. Today was the very first time, and I was telling Fred, I'm like, dude, I think Ryan's fucking like turning because of Andy Bernard. And it's like, will you call this dude? Because, and I mean, but he just like, I'm not saying Fred's lying. I'm not saying Fred's lying. I just like, I understand you're not saying that. You're trying to say, oh, maybe he mistook the days. I've asked Fred that a million times, and Laura. He has a wish list? Well, they don't say psychic. That's right. I mean, she isn't. I know. I understand why they don't like to say psychic either. Because I'm not psychic at all. But I understand why some people just like to. Because saying that you're psychic or something, that's too much pressure. but yeah, I love his wife. His wife seems really sweet. Actually, I think she's much. I think she seems like really nice lady. Well, thank you, Grace. But I just wanted to tell you guys, explain that, guys, to you guys, because I know I told him, I'm like, and I didn't even watch all his video. When I saw his video pop up, like he acted like he was going to do a video in a few days. But no, he was like rushing to do that because when he saw my reaction to me getting upset at him because he wouldn't tell me this evidence, and he saw I was actually getting upset with him, he was so afraid that I was going to come on here and tell you guys that, his new revelations or his new feelings. So instead of, I don't know. I tried to talk, and it's hard for anybody else to understand. Me and him have been in contact like almost like every day. You remember when I was a guest on his panel? I was a guest on his panel. You remember when he was like, just, he's still saying like, oh, I'm not saying that Fred's lying. And I said, I know you're not saying that. But what you are saying is that Andy was not on the road that day. Oh, you're saying for sure without proof. That's what you're saying. You might not say, but so, you might not be saying like Fred's lying, but you're saying something because of hearsay. I know, right? Riddle me. I know. And I just really thought he was I'm sure he is, but I mean, he is a good guy, I'm sure. It's just I'm so tired of people like turning this into like a competition. You guys, I've talked about this time and time again. And I really thought he was like the real thing. Like, I really thought, and I do think it's heart's in it, but at the same time, I also think he's liking the attention he's getting. And if that happens, this is what happens all the time. Like every time, like for instance, like the circle jerks. That's why they were willing to take it to the point that they did, because they loved the attention they were getting from being the ones to expose Ziggy. You see what I mean? Like some people, it just, it makes them forget their values. And I don't know. At times, I'm not saying like he's definitely not the worst at all. I'm just disappointed. Yeah, but the people that were talking shit about Ryan were all the people that dislike me, Now all of a sudden they're probably going to become his biggest supporters or whatever. But it's just fake. I'm tired of the fakeness. I'm tired of the competitive type spirit. The who can get out what first. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like the right intentions if you're hurrying to put out a YouTube video, and because you're afraid I might say something first. Or you won't even trust me with why you believe that. You seriously couldn't trust me for 20 fucking minutes? You were acting like it was going to be a few days before you put it out there. So that you see it like how, like he literally just put it out like a half hour or hour after me and him were talking, like, oh, I can't risk this getting out. Then he makes a fucking video and puts it out. You couldn't trust me for an hour? Wow. I have trusted that dude with a lot. And he's blaming Fred because that guy was not there. And then the video too today, like that he posted with where he had a gun and acting like this guy's gonna be out there when he's out there, like Fred gave him a heads up or something. Like what? Do you think if Fred gave him a heads up, he's gonna be out there the same time you're out there when you guys were supposed to meet up, moving a body? No, the guy had a heads up about Ryan coming there for a few days. So why would the guy, I mean, that doesn't even, the way the Ryan video today that he had earlier, where he's acting like he had scared and had a gun and like, oh my God, there might be somebody up, you know, it was just very dramatic. And he's getting paranoid and I'm like, I told, I don't know, guys. Okay, Grace. I know. I should have known that in advance. It's not just, I knew in advance to, like, I trusted him as much as I trust, like, somebody like Justin. You know what I mean? Like, it just, actually, he had stuff that I have, that nobody's seen. You know, like that call between me and one of Fred, you know, that character witness or the person that knew Fred for a long time and hadn't seen him. But now, you know what? And that's another thing too. And he was like, Ryan was just doting over that call and talking how great this person spoke of Fred. And it was a very reliable source and everything, you know, just really. But then now all of a sudden, I don't know. It's just. Well, in order for him to talk to Fred, Fred would have to call him, and I don't think Fred's going to be calling him because because I told him that I feel like Ryan's trying to say that he even basically that's what it says, like him saying that Andy was absolutely not on the road that day. It's just frustrating saying it without proof. Unless there's proof in that 5-minute video, guys. I mean, I saw that he talked to his boss and he's confident Andy was not on that road that day. From hearsay. Hush it. Oh, Fred won't contact him. Fred can't contact. I mean, he could call him, but today was the first day Fred called him. They talked on Sharp. Come on. Come here. And I told it, and he started asking me like weird questions about like, how would you, it was like he was testing me almost. Come on. That's how I felt. Like I couldn't like he was trying to test my reaction on things to see how much he could trust me and not. But he started like asking me things like, what could your opinion change on Fred if there was evidence? I'm like, well, yeah, obviously, if there was absolute proof, but I need absolute proof. And this all started happening when he started talking to Andy Bernard. She ended up going and making that video. I know. Like, Ryan does not, I tried to tell him, he does not understand. And he just totally disrespected me too. And I just like, it really did hurt my feelings, guys. That's why I was crying earlier. Because we were messaging while I was live, and I'm like, I was asking him while I was live in Messenger, like, what's this evidence? And he's sitting there telling me he can't tell me. So that's why I got so upset at the end of my last live. Because I was frustrated and disappointed. And then think about that. And I was about to go live, and I was like, no, need to calm down. Don't react. But then he puts his video up. Like it was a rush to get it out. And it's just, I blocked him that second. I didn't even watch the video. I blocked him on YouTube and I blocked him on Messenger. I blocked his phone number. Seriously, I just told me a lot about him in particular. I'm not saying this about his wife. But guys, that doesn't mean you shouldn't support him. Okay. I'm not trying to like cancel him or anything. Like, obviously he's out there searching and stuff. And some of it, that's good that he's out there looking for Summer, but we need to make sure we're in this for the right reasons and not let our freaking egos like take over once we get some attention or people watching us or some subscribers. Literally, it happens every time. Every time. Think of how many channels have been made off my channel of people who have turned on me. Literally, the whole purpose of their freaking channels are to attack Ziggy. They do this because it benefits them. That's what I felt like. I felt used. I really did. To be honest, I felt freaking used. And I tried to explain that to him. Well, and so did Tara. She too felt used by him because she was giving her information. I understand. And that's that channel, Another Realm. I know she tried to warn people about him and stuff or whatever. And I know me and her don't see eye to eye. But my problem with her is that she's so dead set. She was part of that whole thing with Fred's sisters tearing apart all the property. This is not me blindly. I feel like sometimes people feel like, especially new people who come in and like Ryan, think that I'm just gonna, like, I'm blindly just like, I'm blindly believing Fred, as if I haven't talked to him several times and Laura and tons of people about Fred's character. I mean, I am not going to support somebody who is putting out misinformation on purpose. I understand it doesn't mean, and then Ryan was like, well, I'm not saying he's lying. I get that. But basically, I tell if it he does it's more than just that part though. He doesn't understand the history. He's hearing things for the first time we've known for like 2 years. Like the monkey thing. Like he's like, oh, you didn't tell. Like he acted shocked and like that was going to change everything about how he felt like about Fred. And I'm like, that's all it takes? Like, now all of a sudden, you think, are you going to listen to the backstory? And who told you that, by the way? And did you think of the source and why that source would be wanting Fred to be schizophrenic or him to have mental problems? Because that's another thing Ryan started doing. He started really asking about his Fred's mental health after he started talking to Andy. Why was he doing that? Well, I imagine, just like Jody Sue tried to do, they tried to say he's schizophrenic, talks to himself. And, well, why would they want people to believe that if it weren't true? Well, I've talked to people who really know him very, very well. He has never had any type of stuff like that. And schizophrenia, yes, there's meth-induced schizophrenia and stuff. I get that. He was sending me those articles too, like as if I don't fucking know that meth can cause paranoia and fucking hallucinations. Duh. Don't you think I've already looked into this stuff and talked about it? Oh my God. And, worked around it and found out, made sure, because I've even talked about on here like 2 years ago, how when Fred mentioned monkeys, how it made me worried that he was not mentally okay. Until I talked to him longer and looked it up, talked to other people around, and found out, okay, I see why he would say something like that. Dusty drew a sketch of Andy on day 2 before Andy ever seen. That guy did look like Andy. Why he changed his mind from a few months ago when he said someone rescued Summer in the community and he wasn't looking anymore. That's how I felt, country girl. I felt like really... And he also gets really affected by what people say about him too, and I knew that was going to be a problem. He's too worried about what people think about him. And it was affecting him, like, people giving him a hard time about me and stuff. I could tell it was affecting him. He said it wasn't, but I could tell that by stuff he wrote in the comments. Like in one comment section, which that was the first thing that bothered me. He was saying, I understand that some creators came here and used to be good, but are now bad. And well, like, I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I'm like, anyways, that was in the comment section of his video where I was the guest. Because it seemed he was starting to get influenced, which I understand is hard to trust. I get that. You don't know who to believe. I understand, I get it on some level. But I thought I've talked about on here, or maybe I haven't talked about on here. He's supposedly supposed to have a background in this shit. And supposedly supposed to, why does it bother him what our people are saying? I thought he's dealt with this type of hate before. That's what's bothering me. Like, why does it seem to bother him what people are saying? And why does it seem to affect what he believes? Like, and who he allows in his circle, and like he's way too easily influenced. You're supposed to go by fact, not by hearsay. Yeah, I thought he was just more professional, I guess. That's why I wanted to. So I was like, try to be taken a little bit more seriously. Try to pull away from the drama a little bit more. I'm just really disappointed. You've done tons of research on something. In my opinion, he used. I just wish he wouldn't have. If he would not have put that video out, I would never be talking about this right now. I would have kept it between me and him, and maybe one or two that I vented to, and that's it. But it was when he put out that video that just was more evidence to me that he wasn't telling me what this evidence was he had of Andy being on the road that day, or not being on the road that day before 6 p.m. He wasn't telling me. So I already had a feeling that it was like, that's why, because he was afraid I would tell people, obviously, and put it out because I'm a YouTuber, right? But when I saw him hurry and put that video out, when he acted to me like it was going to be a few days and that he was going to make sure, be 100% sure and everything. When he hurried and put that video out, he did that immediately when he saw my reaction. Because I was pissed at him. I was really upset. I sent him some kind of shitty messages. I'm like, you mean to tell me you can't fucking tell me what this absolute evidence is that Andy Bernard was not on the road that day before 6 p.m.? But I freaking have gave you every source and got you in connection with, I have helped that guy, I guarantee, more than anybody else here in this community. I guarantee it. And got him connected to more people. I guarantee it. And that was just completely, and because I trusted him, it was just completely disrespectful. You had to hurry and make a video so you could be the first to put it out because you were so afraid I might say something. That's how that looks. And I already had a bad feeling when he wouldn't tell me, but then when he acted like it was going to be a few days. Like, he's like, do you have a minute to talk for 15 minutes or whatever? And I was live. And then he started messaging me, well, I have absolute proof that Andy was not on that road that day. Okay, so, and I'm already pissed about this like bank shit. And I was like, oh my God, okay, like I was thinking he would tell me, right? No, he didn't want to tell me. He couldn't even trust me for a fucking hour. Like he couldn't give me an hour, like, he knew that. He couldn't do that. He couldn't tell me that because he knew I was going to be like, dude, that's not fucking proof. People have already talked to Andy's boss before. That is not new news. I don't know who exactly has, but I know that it might have been Gavel Geeks or something. Somebody did talk to Andy's boss. We have known for a very long time now that Andy's boss and Andy claim he was on camera all day or at work all day. This is something I tried telling Ryan this. Like, that information has already been told. The boss has already talked to people, or it's already been out there that, about this camera footage of Andy being on there. Because I figured that was his evidence. I was like, if this has to do with him being on camera that day at work, then make sure you have him on camera between the hours of 2:30 and 4 p.m. That whole, have eyes on him that whole time. Not if he was on. Well, actually, it could have been a little bit later than 2:30. Actually, he could have been there probably up until I don't know how far his work is from there, but I'm guessing it probably took him at least a half hour to get to work, don't you? So really, he could have left at 2:45 from work. But they should not have him on camera between 2:40, definitely between the 3 and 3:30. Do they have proof that him on camera during those times? Someone put out a recorded phone call with Andy's boss before, and the boss didn't sound that confident to me. Just my opinion. I think it was Mama Sassy. Okay, so that makes sense. That's Gavel Geeks buddy or co-host. Sydney's boss going to cover for him to law enforcement for his whereabouts. I don't know. I don't think so. And I don't get why law enforcement would need Andy to identify him and Candace. It doesn't make sense. Need Andy. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, but it sounds right. For those of you who know all the facts, remember the info from Andy's boss very well. Ryan, amazing info, bro. We're blown away by this new info you shared. No, I mean, okay, so it's more than that for him, I think, is that he talked to Andy Bernard and people close to Andy Bernard. It sounds like his parents. What's he think they're going to say? I thought this guy was more professional, had a background in this type stuff. Ryan said in his video that nobody's talked to the boss but TBI. Yeah, because he probably got that info from... Sassy had a recorded call from allegedly AB's boss. I have been a manager at our local Burger King where I work for almost 4 years now. And from my understanding, the video camera time is off by 2 hours and always has been for 4 years. And I don't see there's so many different factors. You have to, I tried to tell him, I was like, there's different, of course, that's Don's alibi too, that he was at work, right? That's one of I was at work, right? I was at work. That's people's favorite fucking alibi to give. No, I was at work. I couldn't have done it. I was at work. Okay. What time did you go on lunch? When did you, did you leave? It's frustrating. I wish that law enforcement would just trust me, I'm telling you, if it comes out that Fred was lying to me, I will never talk to him again. Like, I would be so pissed if he was purposely lying to me. But I just need proof. Like, he wasn't at work and that's known. Yeah, and that's what Fred was telling me on the phone today. He's like, that's not possible that he has evidence. That's what he said. Fred was saying that's not possible that he has evidence because Andy was on the road. TBI knows for a fact Andy was on that road that day. So Fred was just like acting like, well, that's not possible. Hey, Gavel. Gavel, do you know did you guys talk to Andy's boss? Yeah, and see, Ryan wasn't even right about the fact he was thinking that Jody Sue would cover about him being being on that road or not, or about not being on that road. Actually, Jody Sue says, well, he was thinking that Jody Sue would say that he was on that road that day, but no, actually, Jody Sue sticking up for Andy, which is fine if it's absolute. She knows absolute truth. But she always has been kind of always wanting to defend Andy for some freaking odd reason about everything. You know what I mean? It's like if this guy is so terrible and you call him monster, like so terrible that you have to, but yet you're defending him everything. Why? You know what I mean? It's just, it's very suspect. I'm not saying I don't want people to just unsubscribe because my opinion, guys, I'm not trying to do that to the guy. I'm just really disappointed. Yeah, if that's true that he was on camera all day, which actually law enforcement hasn't really come out and cleared anybody, but like, why does it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to clear anybody. Maybe Andy has been cleared and they don't want the public to know. Maybe, I don't know. That's not how, but yet, I mean, I guess Fred could be lying, and I suppose could be lying about talking to about wearing a wire on, you know, all of them. He wore a wire in all of them, guys. You know that live I did the other day where I said somebody? Yeah, it was Fred. But it makes sense because, which is the same thing, which is already what we've already known, that he wore a wire. It was to hear all the conversations back there. It wasn't just in particularly Dawn. It was to sit there and listen to what everybody's talking about, because Andy, Jody Sue, Dawn, and all of them were like hanging out at the bottom of the driveways. And so law enforcement, according to Fred, wanted him to catch what everybody was talking about. Right. I know. But see, that's why I like you. At least don't respect that. Somebody, like, for instance, Gavel doesn't think Andy's involved at all, right? But at least she's not going to sit here and put out stuff that's not correct just because she doesn't want people to think Andy was involved or something. I don't know. The ex-neighbor and Don said TBI. The ex-neighbor, you mean Jody Sue? Okay. Told TBI, or said that TBI told them Andy was on video at work all day. Oh, okay. So this was Jody Sue and Don said TBI told them that. God, see, this is everything we all have is hearsay, really. Just like even Fred's stuff's hearsay, which is hearsay from me, like, oh, it's frustrating. Why can't they give us anything? Why wouldn't Andy be demanding they clear him? Dawn and Candace. Come here. You can jump. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, thank you to trying to remember what the screen name of this person is who just sent the thank you so much for the Cash App. I didn't see it because I was on a rant earlier. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Well, Ryan supposedly has a lot of experience investigating like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and supposedly was an expert on an expert like what do they call it? That spoke on a History Channel or something? I don't know, or was interviewed for History Channel. I have no idea. But he supposedly exposed a big, like, some conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Or that's what the stuff that he used to expose. Well, and he said he would get so much hate and stuff, and it would be so bad. But like when you deal with this amount of hate, after a while, you get you're able to handle it better. So it doesn't make sense to me that he is so affected by people's opinions. Can you please unblock me, Josh? I'm blocked on your channels. I don't know if you know that. Somebody must. I don't know if you are aware of that, but see, like, I just figured, I thought that the people though that were going against Ryan, though, I didn't trust. Come on, Bandit. It was hard for me to like take anything that they were saying seriously about Ryan because like I felt like they were attacking him because of me, like a lot of them. Or because, you know what I mean? Instead of just judging him for him, and that's not really fair to him. So I didn't really, it did seem like the people that were going after Ryan were like all the Don Wells sympathizers and stuff. And like Tiffany and BK, just people who are that have agendas always. They don't go with their actual beliefs. They just like always have an agenda, how it has to benefit them. And I do think he's a good person. It's just when people get a little bit of attention, sometimes it happens a lot on here. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Lisa K with the hairspray. TBI was given the security cameras to confirm tonight everyone's whereabouts on June 15th. In my opinion, TBI knows what happened. Or I hope so, Nana. Really, Genevieve? Well, he just came out. He just started covering the case. Like what? Like, it's been very recently. Like, he knew nothing about the case. Literally. I spent many hours of my time and like finding him like things that he needed to know and hear. Calls, like telling it, making it, because he knew nothing. He was coming into it blindly. Diet Coke Cash, the truth always wins, even if it takes time. Yes, exactly. And whether that is and it's not a contest either. I just feel like it's just always some kind of contest or competition or hurry to put out something first or whatever. And I was really excited to be able to work with Ryan because I thought he wasn't like that, I thought but it does really feel like after he got the information from me that he needed, it was like I was kind of like kicked to the curb a little bit. That's how it does feel. And now thinking back about it, like maybe those other people that got upset with him because he didn't mention them during that live he had when I was on panel, maybe they have like good reasons. Like maybe they were working with him too, and he, and I don't know. Thank you so much, Gavel Geeks. I know he was saying it like it was facts, and I'm just like, I told him not to do that. What? But he's his own person. Like, I didn't tell him. I asked him to please not put out stuff as facts unless he absolutely knew the fact. And he told me, he swore he wouldn't. And he told me he was going to make a video in a few days explaining it all and then show his evidence of how he knows Andy was on the road that day. So I was like, so you're worried about me putting it out before you or something? He never answered me. He wouldn't answer that. He's like, I can't risk this getting out. Literally, he's like, I can't risk this getting out. Then he makes a fucking video within an hour. He was so in a rush to get some kind of information. He also was like almost blaming Fred. And you could kind of see it in his video today. That's where he was going. You could tell he was irritated. Like he put something sounds fishy in his video today when it was Fred Hill and stuff. And I knew where he was going because he had talked to me before that. Like I said, after he started talking to Andy, okay, let me, kind of lost my train of thought, but I tried to get him just to make sure. It seemed like he was in a rush to put that video out, and it just, I don't know. I also felt like he was testing me too, and like saying things to see my reactions and stuff. And like, I felt like I had to always constantly prove, you know, I was being honest, or I don't know. I did freak out. I did get really upset with him when he wouldn't tell me what this evidence was. And it was just, it's a nothing burger, just like I fucking thought and what I was assuming. I knew he didn't have absolute proof. I knew it. I knew what his proof was hearsay. Because how would he have absolute proof unless he has a video? But why would Ryan have video and like somebody like Gavel Geeks not have it? Who's been like cool with Andy since like for a while. Oh, I'm good. It's good, guys. I'm not sad. It's fine. I'm just disappointed. I don't want people to like being, I feel bad too because I don't want people being mean to him or anything, but I just felt like I was given no choice but to speak out, like because of that video he freaking put out. I already had people texting and messaging me like, what's up with Ryan and Fred? Like after with his video he posted earlier, I already had people like noticing something weird. And so, and it all started once he started talking to Andy, you know, and he never, honestly, he didn't get a chance to talk to Fred, like, except today for when Fred thankfully called me. I thought he wasn't allowed to use the phone, but thankfully he called me like right after I got off my live. I was like, oh my God, thank God you called. I was like, listen to what freaking Ryan's trying to say now. And Fred's like, well, I don't know how that's not possible. He has evidence. And let me tell you, after if I find out like contrary, because I mean, Fred would have had to lie to me if there's proof he wasn't on that road at all, absolute proof, then that would be pretty much proof that Fred was lying to me. Because I've asked him a million times, could it be a different day? He told me him and TBI spoke about it. Andy be on that road that day. You know, so if there was absolute proof, it would mean to me that Fred was lying. See why this is important. If Fred lied to me, I would have nothing to do with him. We're talking about 2.5 years. Well, 2 years since I've been talking to him. And doesn't Ryan think I've done my freaking homework? I thought he could tell that. Yes, Laura saw Andy that day too on the road. And I get it. I get that Ryan is like, I get that he's like, well, I'm not saying Fred's lying. I know you're not saying that. But what you don't get is like, that's basically like, you are saying that because I've asked him every single way around this question. Could it have been a different day? You know, I've seriously, I can't even tell you how many times. He gets annoyed with it, how many times I freaking, but it's never ever wavered. He's never been like, well, maybe I could be wrong. He even claims he talked to TBI about it. That they actually talked about it. So that would have to mean if Andy wasn't on that road that day, that Fred did lie, right? That would mean he was absolutely lying to me. Because then he made up some conversation with TBI that never happened. Yeah, but you have to. He didn't provide evidence to Fred, Bonnie. It is frustrating. TBI didn't just offer evidence to Fred. That's not what happened. See, people just don't, they take things wrong, and it is frustrating because there is so much information to know. So much context. Everything we all have is freaking hearsay, and it's fucking so frustrating. I'm just I wish law enforcement would give us any, can't they clear some people, like anything? No, supposedly TBI told him Andy was on that road, that they were actually talking. He was showing him, TBI was showing him photos, asking who was this in this vehicle. One of the people was Andy. And then they discussed something about Andy being on the road that day. Remember? He told law enforcement he saw Andy on that road that day. So did Laura. They had to pull over to let Andy by back there, way back on Ben Hill Road. It is Fred's belief, like what he's trying to say is Andy had to have left at some point during at work. That he is not budging at all. He's saying he was on absolutely. So like I'm saying, if there is proof to the contrary, I would be pretty upset. I don't know. I would ask Don why he would go down to Fred's when his child's missing, to start asking, according to Fred, ask him questions or start talking about seeing Summer in the Resurrection and trying to claim he was trying to put it off like to the police that, oh, maybe let me go check this meth dealer down here. From the beginning, Don was trying to set that shit up. but it's not like, it's not blind. It's not me blindly believing it. What people don't understand is like, people are like, all those people are liars, every one of them, blah, blah, blah. I haven't had any absolute proof in 2 years of him straight up lying to me. It's a problem. I haven't had anything like things that he said has not contradicted. So much like he hasn't contradicted himself a million times, and like Dawn and Candace and all their different, there's so many smoke signals. I haven't had that with him. Like, I'm not just like blindly believing the guy. We're talking a very long time and a lot of research going into this, a lot of time put into this, and speaking to him, going down there. I've been to Tennessee 3 times from Indiana. I went down to Ben Hill Road each time I was down there, like several times, and talked to Fred and Laura several times on each trip. I've kept in contact with them on the phone. I met Dawn and Candace and Grandis in person and talked with them. I met the tree trimmers. Billboard people somehow randomly ended up on my panel one day, and we've had, I've done my research in this case. I'm not freaking just blindly following the guy because I'm the one that's talked to him. Oh yeah, for sure, Veritas. Yeah, but Justin, I was a guest. That's the difference, is what I mean. Like, I was the guest that day. You picked up the link, remember? Is that what you mean? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about Ryan's? Or are you talking about something else? Maybe you're talking about something else. Sorry. Well, thank you, Carrie. Frank Light, I think because he's a scary guy. Oh, sorry, Justin. Gosh, I knew you had to be talking about something else. Yeah, that just randomly, it was, what's his name? It started with a D. It was a guy that dealt with, that Christy had been in communication with over the billboards. Oh, thank you, Mama Bear. But do you guys, what did you guys think? Did you guys see when Ryan first came out, and like, were you guys shocked to learn this? I don't know. It's always, I mean, people are always going to disappoint us and stuff like that. We're always going to be disappointed by people, and we're all human and stuff. But I like, pretty much, I talked to him, like, it's not just one, his several choices that he made this evening, it just really showed me who he was. And I'm just so disappointed because I like really promoted that guy. And it's not that he has to believe everything I believe. That's not it at all. It's a respect thing. Like, I'm going to give you all this freaking people's numbers and connections and everything and all this information and all these, phone calls and all this stuff, and spend all this time with you. And you can't even tell me what this evidence is. And you tell me because you can't risk it to get out, but then instead you hurry and make a video just because, real quick. I don't know who Ariana is, Lucy Cat. I'm talking about Ryan. Candace said Frank didn't do anything. Oh, thank you, Mom Bear. I just feel bad too. Like I hate that I don't like her. I don't want people attacking him either. Like I'd feel really bad about that. It's just like I just felt like he gave me no choice. It's kind of like what the circle jerks fucking did to me in a way. Like they gave me no choice but to speak out. Find the truth here. Oh yeah, if he finds it, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Well, that's hearsay, Diamond Girl. That's not what. Yes. What? Oh. Let's see. It would be worth it, but that's why wouldn't it have been worth it? Why did he have to hurry up and make a video? I don't care about him having my I don't. That's the thing. The thing is, he didn't give me the same respect, Phil. Is what you don't understand. He didn't give me the same respect and back. I don't care that. I don't mind helping him, and it's just like disappointing that he was so afraid that I was going to release something before him and had to hurry up and put something out. He thought I was going to, like, I trusted him with a lot of sensitive information that I was sworn to secrecy on. But yet he couldn't tell me in advance. And he lied to me and said it was going to be a few days, but instead he hurried and made a video while we were talking, or like hurried and made a 5-minute video and put out his, basically him clearing Andy Bernard. People, and I saw another comment, somebody saying, oh, what's the issue? The boss said he was at work. You guys, that's not evidence. First of all, that's hearsay. We haven't heard it straight from the boss, okay? Secondly, we don't have physical eyes on him between those certain times, is what I'm saying. Just like a lot of people believe Don left work that day. Yeah, that's how I felt too, Sunshine. That's why I said he's too influenced by other people. I could tell that immediately with how he acted after that, but I couldn't blame him. I get it. It's hard to have, a million people or not a million, but tons of people coming after you because of who you had on your panel. You know what I mean? They do that shit on purpose, guys. And I would think he would know that. But that's why I thought he was more experienced at this. Like, I figured he would know that type of stuff happens. But he acted like, oh, they must be, he was taking people's like words for it and stuff. Like, he's just believing things without evidence. Like this, so he's basically saying it's because he talked to Andy's boss that he's confident. Well, what? Did you see the video yourself? Who's dating Frank Light? I did tell him. I told him that earlier. I told him that because when he wouldn't tell me the evidence, I said I assumed. He didn't even tell me he wouldn't even tell me the on camera thing, like, oh, his boss, they talked to his boss. He wouldn't even tell me that much. I assumed that's what it was because it's already been out there. I assumed when he talked to Andy Bernard, and by the stuff that like I could tell by talking to Ryan before where he was going, and like he was planning on talking to Andy and stuff. And I knew what Andy was going to tell him because I've already heard him on interviews before. And I tried telling him that if your evidence is that he was at work all day because he's supposedly on camera, make sure you know that for a fact he was there between these certain hours. Just because somebody was at work that day at some point does not mean, or just because they're seen on surveillance at some point doesn't mean they never left and came back. It's the oldest trick in the book, guys. Yeah, right here. If having alibi, he's saying, Nana, yeah, there's more than just that. It's more than just, I've explained it over and over. People will have to just watch from the beginning if you're not quite understanding, because he was saying that Andy Bernard was absolutely not on that road that day. That he had evidence. And he would not show me the evidence. Because he said he acted afraid, like, oh, I'm afraid I can't have this information leak. And then he puts out a fucking video. I can't have this, I can't. And I was like, are you just worried that I'm going to put out something before, that I'm going to put it out first? I said, dude, if it's about him being on camera that day, that's already fucking out there. Somebody's already talked to his boss before. Well, I talked to Andy and he said, and I talked to Andy's parents and they said, and it's like, that's not evidence. Also, that he gave that video to TBI. Oh, yeah, I know TBI has a video. We already knew that. That's what I'm saying. It's not evidence. It's just still hearsay, really, guys. There's no absolute evidence still. This is about similar to, Pruitt saying to BK that somebody's cleared. That's not really evidence. I mean, him saying law enforcement can lie for one, and it was on a private. The guy thought he was on a private phone call, or probably he probably knew he was being recorded actually by Benny's crazy ass acting like a lunatic. Just because Pruitt says somebody, well, okay, if you could say it on the phone, then let's hear it. Can you put it out to the public, please? Oh, thank you so much for the cash app. Somebody said Ryan believes Andy. Oh, he thinks that means access to his property. Well, I think that's what happened. He probably was out there today. He probably met up with him today, is what I'm guessing. I could tell that he's starting to get secretive and stuff, and I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, I have never been like that. I have never been one, oh, I can't, I've never. How do people but not under oath? I know somebody who's personally left work without clocking out, ran home to take care of a problem, and then went back and no one ever knew they'd left. Yeah, it happened. I mean, he would have had to have been able to leave. He would have had to, according to Fred today says, now he goes, I don't know these times for sure, so don't take, okay, so guys, don't take this as well, it's not fact anyways because it's hearsay, but don't take it like he's saying he believes the times on that Andy was seen at 3:15 and then 3:19. From 3:15 to 3:19 is the times he thinks he remembers. But he said, I'm not sure though. To me, that seems like a little, like, not quite enough time. But if he was like, let's say the maximum he would really have to be on that road if they had something planned is like 10, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then how long does it take for him to get there from his work? If this was all planned in advance and this was something to, he already was, it would have been planned if it's, you know what I'm saying? Just like Don and his alibi of being at work. So I told us a long time ago about that camera on the road. Well, Jody Sue's trying to say that there wasn't a camera on that road the day Summer went missing. That's what she's trying to say. Sly One also spoke to his boss allegedly, posted on ELP's channel sometime back. We'll see. According to Ryan, this boss, whoever he spoke to, claims it's the first time he's ever talked to anybody besides TVI. I don't know. Ryan put the name of the guy under his video, so I'm too lazy right now to pull it up, but I don't know if it's the same guy. Everybody's talked to the same boss. Like, are we talking about, like, how there's different levels of managers? I mean, are we talking to the same guy? You know what I mean? That's important too. Like, who exactly? How would he see what? Why would he see what happened to Summer? That's a stupid question. That doesn't even make sense, Three Flying Doves. I'm sorry. What? Do you understand Fred lives like a mile down from Dawn and Candace? They're not like next door neighbors. If something happened to Summer over there at 110, he's not going to see it. all he saw was Andy Pass come down there. Is what all he's claiming is he saw Andy come down there that day, or Andy on the road down there towards the end of Ben Hill Road. That's all he's saying. That Andy passed him and Laura, and they had to pull over to let him by. And he's also saying that TBI and knows as well. But beyond that, he doesn't know, you know. And as far as seeing, what do you mean everybody? He didn't see Jody Sue. He did supposedly see Dawn going up the driveway that morning. That's always been said. No, like what all it is like that, you know how I came on and told, it's nothing like the information I've told you guys. It's the main thing is, so, well, I gave him phone calls, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would help him. I would look up things for him. As far as the thing that I'm talking about specifically that he got that nobody else did, is my phone call with that source that I was talking about, I don't know, a week or so ago. And when we were talking about it on Ryan's panel because I let Ryan hear the call. Or actually, it wasn't Ryan's panel. It was up on, wasn't it my panel? Anyways, Ryan decided after hearing that phone call that, you know, he was for certain Fred was a good guy because the source I had spoken to was a very, very good source and like somebody who knows Fred very, very well. So all Ryan knows that you guys don't know, well, for one, he knows who that person was. And two, he heard the phone call. See, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, you guys know, it's just, I swore to that person, you know, I swore their privacy. Because they're scared of getting attacked from people, you know, who think that he's involved or are mad at him for telling on him or, you know, information about what he saw and stuff. So, yeah. People really close to him. Yeah, they're afraid of retaliation. I think they did let somebody up there. Or I don't know if they let anybody up there over there at the fields. People have been up there at 125, but I don't know if he actually went up there or whatever. That's what the plan was, though, I think. I don't know if he was going to go up to 125 or just up there on Big Fields Road. The only person the Bernards will let search their property would be folks they trust. So tell me why they trust Ryan. Well, probably because they know there's nothing up there now. I mean, they've had plenty of time to get rid of anything. This is, you know, Summer's gone missing it's been 2.5 years ago. And anything, and this is for anybody's property. This isn't just the Bernards. Like, which, by the way, Andy's parents never really lived up at 125. I don't know if people know that. Like, not recently. They really stay mainly in Florida. They have like a lot of property. I think they have more money than people think. But that doesn't mean anything really, you know what I mean? Anybody who could have been on it, anybody, whoever's property, like it really doesn't mean much if somebody lets them up on your property. Let's say Don Wells like suddenly lets people up on his property. Does that really mean much at this point? Really? 2.5 years later, does that really mean much? Would that mean that somehow Don is suddenly more believable or trustworthy? That's true. Not to plant something. That is true. Well, I'm guessing well, that is true. Well, probably because Ryan, I don't know. He doesn't really seem like the type that would plant something, but he also, I didn't think he would do this shit either. Oh, I know you're not messing with me. Oh, you're just messing with me. Wait. Always protect your sources or you won't have any going forward. I'm like, Ryan, I have an actual degree in journalism. He's an engineer, so why is he doing this? Money? Yeah. Like he said, he talked about it that it was like his side job or whatever. Or that it was his side, like, yeah, he calls it like his side job. I don't know. Like, I thought he was really, I really felt like he was really, until just very recently, I've started noticing things, and not just me. People close to me have been messaging me and already noticing things within the last, like, pretty much ever since I was on that panel. 777 in chat. At least there was for a second. But I try to take everything and to understand his point of view too. I always try to look at everybody's point of view, and try to look at things from their viewpoint. And from Ryan's viewpoint, like if I try to put myself in his viewpoint, like I gotta understand too that he is very new to this case, and he's not, just like you guys were shocked hearing these things the very first time. He's here just now hearing them. But yet he doesn't know the context, and he's just jumping the gun on things. Like, that's my I feel like he's jumping the gun. He's in a hurry. I've always felt like he's in a hurry. Like, he was starting, like when you're not going to find something. I mean, people have been looking for 2.5 years. You're not going to, somebody's not going to come in out of nowhere and just find her like right away. I mean, it could happen, but the likelihood is not very high. So I would think he would know that he's not going to, just because he doesn't go out, or he goes to the plate, tries looking for the plate, like Fred tries to describe to him the area that he was told Cotton fell from. Just because Ryan claims he can't find it or whatever, and just like Fred told me today, he's like, he didn't walk for enough. He's like, did you go till you saw the trash like I told you? Ryan said, no, I didn't go that far. Well, then you didn't go far enough. Just because that guy wasn't there when he went by there to meet him does not make that Fred's fault. Like, I don't, and how his video today is like, something's fishy. And I knew what he meant by that because he had already started sending me, like, ever since, like, I'm telling you, just in the past few days, it's just been weird. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, he doesn't have any money. That's true. He doesn't have a monetized channel at all, guys. That's right. I'm trying to be fair. I'm not trying to just dog the guy. I'm just, you know. Doesn't he get paid for views? No, he hasn't. He hasn't. He hasn't set up his, or unless he did he set up his monetization? Somebody said something about him having a wish list out though. But if it might just, I don't know. Let's see. I don't think he is monetized. No, I don't. He doesn't have a join button or anything, so he's not monetized. Oh, his channel is monetized for only advertisements. He doesn't accept Cash App or Super Chats. Okay. Facebook? It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't matter who finds her. I agree, women are sacred. It's not about that at all. I hope he finds her. Like, truly, that's not what it's about. And I know people are going to twist my words, and because they're only going to hear little parts of this, or because they just want to, you know, because they don't like me or whatever. But the truth is, it's a respect thing here with me. That's the thing. He used you to discredit your main source. Yeah, Kathy, I could see that. YouTube will place ads regardless. That's what I thought so too, Carrie. They didn't used to, but now they do. Yeah, today was not the best of days. But you guys did give me I think you guys helped me figure out some solutions to hopefully, I think everything's going to be okay because of you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And those who respect me and, you know, show me, and that's how it always is. Like, if you guys respect me or you treat me with respect, and I'm going to treat you guys, I swear I'll treat you just as good. Even if we have completely different opinions, or, you know, if you're a good person, you know, and also the truth is the truth too, no matter who tells it. So it's not about, for me, it's not a contest. You guys, I could be very wrong about Fred. But it's more than that. It's my problem. It's way more. It's not that. It's not about him, you know, thinking differently about Fred or anything. Which he's saying he doesn't think Fred's involved, but that's not the problem. We know Fred's not involved. That's not it. It's the whole rushing to put that video out thing is what bothered me. In fact, he couldn't trust me with his supposed guaranteed evidence. Well, he's also though like he's also talking to locals and stuff though, and that helps, you know, get answers too about what could happen. If we could all work together and put the puzzle pieces together, we would have this probably figured out. The problem is we can't all get freaking along long enough to everybody's in a freaking hurry to get some information or afraid somebody else is going to put it out, or you know, it's like so nobody will work together because everybody wants to be the freaking wiener. But if we could work all together and stuff, that's why I was disappointed that he like acted like he couldn't tell me. Like, I thought this was supposed to be to find Summer. Why are you acting like you can't tell me? Are you afraid I'm going to put out the information first? That's why I was really offended, guys. That's why. After all this stuff that I trusted him with, you know? So yeah, I just blocked him and just not going to talk to him anymore. I'm not going to dog him either. I'm not going to talk shit about him. I'm not going to continue. You know how I operate. I'm not going to sit here and dog the guy. As long as he's not talking shit about me or throwing digs at me, I'm not going to say he seems to mind his own business. So I'm not going to continue my rant on him or anything like that past this live. And I'm not going to like attack him or anything, because when I'm hurt like this is disappointment. This is hurt. This is not me angry. I was mad though earlier for sure. I was angry at first. I have a very bad temper. Ask Brian if he'll share those voice clips I sent to him. He might eventually. That'd be a good show, Ryan. You'd get lots of views. No, his evidence is he didn't give any. From what I hear, I didn't watch it, but from the description, from what I read, I just knew it was exactly what I thought it was. Oh, he was on work all day. His boss says he was on camera that day. Okay, did you see it? Did you see between these certain times? And that's how I felt, Sunshine. And that's what I was telling people before I even went live. That's exactly how I felt. But you know what? He's not the only one that's fucking done it. It's been about pretty much, it's happened. I mean, I can't even count how many times that shit's happened to me. That people have used me, and then it's how it is. It's not just me I'm not trying to have a pity party. It happens to others too. People come around when they think you have information, or if they think you are getting, if you're getting attention or you're getting the numbers, they suddenly want to be your friend. But, you know, look at how I was treated when everybody thought I was just like, or tried to put out lies about me. I do see you, Jessica. He said his last video, yeah. I know. I had Fred call him. That's what I was saying earlier, Jessica. That Fred did call me tonight, and that I was talking to Fred about it, like how I noticed, like, and I said, Fred, will you call him? Like, he's seriously going to, I don't know. So Fred hung up with me and called him real quick because all they had talked before was through Chirp, but he's got no access to his Chirps or anybody's Chirp anymore. Like, the jail is definitely making sure he's not using anybody's Chirp. And so Fred called him, and then message after he gets talking to Fred, and basically didn't do anything. He just said, well, I know Fred believes what he's saying, but I don't think he's lying, but I just think he's, and that's what people have said this all the time. We've all wondered, but we've all wondered, could he have had the wrong day? We've gone over this like 5 million times. He doesn't understand that. I don't know. I will be so, I would never, I don't know if, I would never, Fred would lose me as a, if he lied to me surrounding the Summerwells case on purpose, I would totally never talk to him again. First, I would talk to him and bitch him out and tell him how horrible of a person he is, and how could he sit here and put out misinformation on purpose about a missing girl? Why is he playing games with a missing child? That's what I would say. Then I would never fucking talk to him again. And he can figure out his rehab shit himself. Why? Because it's a little girl who's missing. And it's not a game. So trust and believe I am not blindly following Fred. There is a method to my madness. Well, it's not a method. There is a method to my madness, but there's a reason. I mean, this is not an opinion that was just like formed overnight. That's odd language by Jesu, not wanting people to talk to Fred because it pinpoints others. I honestly don't believe he would take that chance to lie to me. I've seriously let him know. He knows like how. I don't believe for a second yes, he could be mistaken about some things, but the thing is, he would have had to have lied to me, because he said, if this is all true, because he said him and TBI talked about it, Andy being on that road that day and how, Fred couldn't have had the wrong day, because he told me if he did, if it would have to be a complete lie. The only if Andy was not on that road that day, and if there's absolute proof, between those times, he had to have lied to me because he said that him and law enforcement talked about it in TBI and that he wore a wire and stuff on everybody back there. After supporting him for 2 years, yeah, I would be pretty upset. But I just, you guys, I need proof. I can't just go by somebody's word. I have to see it because I have not noticed like anything, any signs of, I've never caught him lying. Like, you guys have heard him talk and the phone calls and stuff. Yeah, and exactly. Andy was always like saying he can't remember. He doesn't remember what car he was driving that day. You guys don't think that's odd? I mean, I think that's a big red flag. I don't remember. According to Fred, he told law enforcement he didn't remember if he was on the road that day. What? See, there would have, yes, there is, it wouldn't be, there's no chance of mistaken days here. Either he's lying or he's telling the truth. Either it's the truth or it's a lie. And if he's okay, either it's you guys understand what I'm saying. Never mind. I'm getting all jumbled up. Hey, pretty as pretty does. Yeah, that is true. Women are sacred. That's what I'm trying to remember too. But he's still, at the same time, you know, there's other things that the reason I feel personally the way I do. But that's me. That's my personal, you know, interaction with him. People should make their own decisions with, or, you know, if they want to, you know, how they feel about him personally. But he just lost one of his biggest. I mean, I really was helping him a lot. And I know this case very, very well. And like I tried telling him, I've talked to a lot of people surrounding this case. You don't think that Fred's truthful, Sunshine? Or do you mean? No, that's another thing I asked him about somebody else driving that vehicle. He said no, because TBI showed him pictures of Andy's car going in that day and out that day. And on the way out, he said you can clearly see him. That it was definitely Andy Bernard, and that and he goes, and law enforcement knows it's Andy Bernard. And Andy knows, law enforcement knows. So Fred says, I don't understand why he's lying because law enforcement knows he was on that road that day. That's what Fred says. Does Andy's son drive? Probably. They live out in the country, so even if he doesn't have his license, I'm sure he's began driving when he was really young. but you know, and if that's true, then shame on freaking Jody Sue for playing games with, you know, that's what, there's just so much freaking shadiness surrounding, not so much Andy because he's been, but still, that interview he did was very suspect. Like, not, he would be like, I don't know or not remember. Wait, some things, like, especially the car he was driving that day, that was a really strange thing. Yes, I do. It was on the next driveway. I do know for a fact. He said the Thompson's driveway. So it's the next driveway on the left after 125. I thought it was right there at Simpson Loop and Ben Hill Road. Like, basically right at the corner. But no, it's at the driveway because people were stealing decorations. Fred told the same story since the very beginning. And he said it again just a couple days ago. The reason why they set up a camera is because there were people stealing decorations out there. It was the Thompson's camera. That's who would be good to talk to. He said it was the Thompsons or something. The next driveway after 125 on the left. That's who we need to talk to. I wonder if they have a cop. Oh, that'd be, I don't know. That'd probably put them in quite a predicament if they release that before law enforcement. You know, that probably wouldn't be good. But they can probably tell us if, you know, confirm or deny some things. Fred has said things and said it with his chest. Everyone else spoke. How about with their mouth? Yeah. Do they know for sure? Oh, we don't know for sure anything, Paddywhack. We don't know because law enforcement won't freaking tell us anything. And then we get frustrated with each other like this and stuff, and can't trust anybody, and always like paranoid about this person, that person. Like, oh, is this person lying? Are they telling me the truth? Or is this person for real? Like, is this just another game? Is this creator saying this, or are they being honest, or are they saying that for views? You can't fucking trust anybody. Because we've seen most people here in this, many creators purposely, like Tiffany Marie, I hate to freaking kick her while she's down, but Tiffany Marie, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we need to talk about. I mean, I wouldn't put me personally, I wouldn't put them in the position to ask for that footage. I mean, if they wanted to show it to me, I would. If I swore, I would not share it but I really wouldn't want to put them in that kind of predicament, because that puts them in a position, because they're probably told by law enforcement, asked by law enforcement not to. Like Fred has even told me, some things that he's told me, like he said a few times, like, oh, I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, or I'm really not supposed to tell you this. So I do think law enforcement has told some people to, not say some things. Well, but that's not even, we haven't heard it from the business owner ourselves, like, unless people have it recorded and played it for us. Are we, is it just hearsay? Are we taking people's word for it that the business owner has said this stuff, or do we have absolute proof out there? You know what I mean? That's important too. Like, we have to hear it for ourselves. But I think people are saying that there is some calls out there where the business owner has been talked to, or the supposedly, I guess, Enchanted Life Path might have something out. Donna and Andy arrived around the same time on Ben Hill. Yeah. Yeah, when I saw Ryan, I was like, oh, this guy's perfect, you know? I was like, this is perfect. This is who I want to talk to Fred, you know? But because I thought he was like really level-headed and grounded. But I started to notice, and he is, he kind, you know, more than most, some, but I started noticing he getting really, you know, paranoia and kind of paranoid, and like also like dramatized, just being really a little bit overly dramatized. What's the word? Dramatic. I know started getting, I don't know, a little paranoid. But at the same time, I understand, because you can't trust anybody. Don't know who's telling the truth. Yeah, you do, Jane. Oh, well, thank you, Karma. Dramatized. There you go. Yeah. So I've said my share. I'm gonna go to bed, guys. I'm gonna get up early because I'm gonna get on the bank about fixing this stuff. But because of you guys, I think I've got it handled it either way. So you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. Just a wealth of info. Actually, somebody suggested I ask my subscribers, like I did how you guys helped me figure out how to get my medicine that I couldn't get called in by my doctor. The antidepressants. That worked out perfectly. So I thought, well, let's try this. Let's try asking them, you know, because we have all kinds of different people out there. That's why we need to work together, because all of us have different professions, different backgrounds, different specialties. Like, you know, like there was somebody in here who was saying they're a journalist, and we've got nurses, you know, people with medical backgrounds. We have people who've worked in DCS. We have Ryan's an engineer. You know, all the different backgrounds like help. It's different, you know, and when everybody works together, you know, everybody has these different gifts or things they bring to the table. Like some people are able to talk to one person, you know, just like Justin was able to talk. Justin and ICU were able to get Jose, you know, like I was able to talk to Fred. We got to work together. Oh, I'm sure it is, Sharon. Oh, thank you, Pretty as Pretty Does. Oh, thank you, True Crime. I keep saying oh. I blocked him. Nicely done, but maybe I don't like how he handled tonight. That bugged me really bad. I even tried to talk to him because I had a feeling he was going to do that. I just had a feeling because of how he's been acting, and I just tried to talk to him to just make sure before he says, you know, if he's going to say anything contrary to what he said before, or, just to be absolutely sure. And I tried to explain to him why it was important. And what I was just asking him, please. I said, please, just for me, would you just like not put this out as absolute fact, or not put this out unless you have absolute proof? And I'm not talking hearsay, I mean absolute evidence. And he assured me that he was going to be completely fair and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't understand, like, the party store, the porch dwellers. Which ones are those? The party store. I kind of wonder, he hasn't, I haven't talked to him about it because he's been in jail, but I kind of wonder if he let people use that property to make meth. You know what I mean? I don't know. Aw, I love you guys too. Thank you. Andy even said he didn't know if he left work. That's right. You're right. I didn't know if I worked. He didn't know if he left work at all that day. And he tried to act like he didn't even know what time he went to work or got off each day. Yeah, he didn't act confident. He just, there were some things that I just didn't seem. When traumatic things happen in your life, even though it's not so traumatic for Andy, but it's a memorable day. It's like something that happens, like will never happen, more than likely never happen again. A child go missing that in your neighborhood, that's like once in a lifetime thing usually, if ever. He's not going to remember what he was driving that day. When he talked to law enforcement, probably like what? The same night or the next day? How are you going to forget what you were driving? That's funny. I don't know. I've been wondering that too. Where is Scott H? He didn't want to tell exact times because they may not match up to his timeline told. Yeah. I feel like I almost feel, well, not almost, I do. Like, I hate that I always feel bad. Like, I just wish he wouldn't have done that freaking video because I felt forced. I felt forced to speak out about this. How do you go? It's just, people were already starting to ask questions earlier today because of his video he put out earlier today. Like, you could tell, like, to me, he said something, he put in the title, something fishy, and then put Fred Hill and, Cotton, I don't know. And just, it's like, I could tell already with that title. And plus I had talked to him beforehand and he just, the past few days, I was like, if you know some evidence, can you please tell me? Because I've been supporting this guy for freaking 2 years and spent a lot of freaking time on him. Can you please tell me? Because I don't want to waste another second with a fucking liar. Like, I don't want to help a liar, especially surrounding a child's case. Purposely putting out misinformation, So I was like, if you have proof, please. Oh, and I was begging for the evidence. Oh, I can't. I can't risk it. I can't risk it. And then later on says, I'm going to put it in a video in a few days. And then I'm going, and then I'm going to, at the end of it, then I'm going to show my proof. But then I was like, okay, so you're afraid I'm going to somehow put it out before you. That's why you won't tell me, because that's what you're really scared of. Honestly, let's be real here. You're afraid I'm going to put out some information before you. Then he confirmed my suspicions when he hurried and made a freaking video when he saw that I was upset because he wouldn't tell me his evidence. I feel it was like he was afraid I would come on here first and tell everybody that supposedly he has evidence about, Andy not being on that road that day or something. Like he was afraid that I was going. It's like, but dude, that's not new news. That's like not something new. I tried to tell him that in the message. I'm like, if this is about him being at work that day, that's not new news. Like, people have already talked to his boss before. But yet this boss, supposedly told Ryan, oh, I haven't talked to anybody but TBI before. So maybe, that's what I'm saying. You can't just take somebody's word for it. There's so many fucking liars surrounding this case. You don't know who to believe. Like, and I mean Fred too. I do. It is going to be a much bigger group of individuals. And that's the problem is right. And that's why I was trying to tell him you need actual receipts. Hearsay is not, and I thought he knew better. That's why that's my problem, guys. That's what I've been talking about this whole time. It's like, you told me you told us all you have a background in this type of research and that you've been scrutinized before and have dealt with haters, by the buttloads. So I thought he was well equipped to deal with the varying opinions and the he said, she said stuff. I didn't think he would be so easily swayed just by talking to somebody. I thought, and that's why I asked him. I just asked them to at least have absolute evidence, please. No, he talked to several people who say that Andy was at work that day. So that's proof. You're not so sure anyone is involved? Keep your circle small with your private information. He's up to something, I believe. Fred Hill. Yeah. Fred's like, I was afraid something like this was going to happen. He's like, I had a feeling something like this was going to happen. Fred Clint, which, I should have known better too, but I know the comments under that video are not very nice, but you would think he would be able to handle that kind of stuff, and know people have agendas and how trolls work and how they will put out stuff to make people think things, and they'll, they try to sway your opinion, or he should know how haters work, and there's going to be people who don't like the guest he has on his panel. He should know, I don't know, he just should have some knowledge of how things work. To me, he acts like he's brand new to all this stuff. It's like, okay, you're brand new to YouTube, but you supposedly have had, you know, did research in these conspiracy theories and had this blog site and, you know, had all kinds of like people after you and not liking you. And he just seemed like a real like facts guy at first, you know? Oh. Oh, the comments weren't nice on the one he just put out. What is his wife's? Well, she just has feelings about people, and I don't think she's like psychic like that. I think she just claims to have like. I don't. Yeah, well, didn't he have a blog or something like that? Yeah, didn't he? Is that what he said? Or Reddit? He would go on the Reddit. Where was it? He said he would do his conspiracy. It was like on, yeah, he used to be a part of those old school forums and stuff. Yes, he was a part of those forums and stuff where he would try to, like Reddit type stuff. But he was really involved in it where he, was actually contacted by the CIA over some of his research. According to him, he's got so deep in research that he's contacted by the CIA. Like he claimed he had to quit because the hate was so bad. Like basically, it's like something that he talked about on his channel, or basically acting like it was dangerous or something. But so I don't know. It just seems like. Hey, and Shanna, do you have a video on your channel of like Don's boss or something speaking about, or not Don's boss, I'm sorry, Andy Bernard's boss? I know. Oh, I know. That's what I was telling people too, that I felt like he was trying to see how I react to things because he can't trust anybody. He can't trust that I'm on, I think he's one of those that believe like possibly creators can be in on it and stuff. And that stuff is just crazy to me. I mean, maybe I can see the Brad thing, why people might think that. Chase. At the time it happened, I thought Andy got the sack for lying about being at work. Oh, did she say she had visions? I guess she did say vision of like, looked like a blanket over her face and stuff, or felt it. Is he still working at the same place, homie? He told Andy, okay, he said that Andy told him the family sold the land to help him get back on his feet. Okay. His family sold the land, several plots, several $1,000s, but he still needed to come on YouTube and try to collect for a trailer. Okay, that does not make fucking sense. The land was, the land was sold. He should have already had all that stuff. The land was sold 3 months after Summer went missing. The Bernards suddenly sold several property or several like land part, like they sold it to a trust, the Chimney Topped Revocable Trust, whatever that means, out of Florida, where the Bernards, the parents, supposedly are staying currently. My opinion, if I was on jury day, I would believe Fred Hildine. And that's why I mean, I don't know. But see, like, I understand there's people in here who have talked to Andy, and maybe if I don't know. See, the thing is, it's kind of like you have to choose one or the other. Who you believe, Fred or Andy? You kind of have to, because you can't believe both of them. You have to choose one. Because both of them can't be right. Andy's saying he was not on that road that day. Fred's saying, and Laura's saying he was. Why did Andy not move back when she left? Good question. Very good question. Exactly. Exactly. Probably because he wanted to get away from the area for some odd reason. Right, Jane? He didn't even remember the car he was in. That's the frustrating part for me. And that's why I'm trying to tell him he's going to look, according to Fred, and in my belief, because this is how confident I am in Fred, he's going to look silly. But hey, maybe I'll look silly, guys. I could, if I could look silly, it's whatever. If I end up being completely, if I end up being completely wrong about Fred, it will definitely change a lot of things though for me. Like, I don't know if I would continue this channel, to be honest, because like, if my freaking intuition is off that bad, or if I'm, I don't know if I'm in the right arena or the right community, if I could be that wrong about somebody. I'd just probably go hang out over there in my tarot community. You guys could go visit me there every once in a while. I don't know, except maybe I would say, like, what would he have to gain exactly? Attention? Well, if that were true, why didn't he come out? It took forever to, like, I had to go down to Tennessee for the longest time to freaking speak to him. Like, I could not get him to, at first, like, it was not like after the first time I met him that he just started messaging me. Like, no, it was very slow. Like, me and him been in pretty constant contact for the last year. But before that, it was like much more sporadic. It was still consistent, pretty consistent, but we could go for like a month without, or a couple weeks without talking. No one else is willing to address that their source might not be truthful. So well, thank you, nicely done. I truly want to know the truth. The truth is the truth. Yeah, he didn't. He's never implied he's never said, like, when I've asked him about, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't he throw them under the bus about other things? Why would he just, like, he doesn't say. I've asked him about if they sell drugs and stuff like that, and he's like, I don't, like, he straight up says, I don't know. He's never, like, thrown them under the bus about anything. Even Dawn and Candace, like, straight up, like, well, really, no. Like, he doesn't just, like, sit there and say, they don't sit there and just talk shit endlessly. Burning people. I know. That's what I was trying to tell him. It's because I haven't, when there's smoke, there's fire. There's just not been as much smoke with Fred as there has other people, in my opinion. If we're being real and honest, honest. I mean, people might say otherwise because they don't want to be honest, or maybe that's just their truth belief. Maybe they truly believe that. But I feel like I don't see how anybody could truly believe that, and who's been around from the very beginning, like, and really, really knows this case well. Like, when I mean been around since the beginning, not just like coming in every once in a while, like really knows the case. Oh, he still is, Sherry. He still is. I'm sure Fred won't contact. He can. Fred's free to do what he wants. I'm not going to be like, oh, don't contact him. But I don't think Fred's going to really want to be talking to somebody who, just made him look like a liar. So but Fred is a very forgiving guy. So if I told him to talk to him, he would, but I don't know if he would on his own. I don't think so. I mean, I had to tell him to talk to him today. It was the first time that he's called him. They have messaged, like I said, through Chirp. Don switches cars that day. Andy doesn't remember the car he drove that day. Weird, but it was normal for him to take one over the other and doesn't remember if it was different that day. Has an entire article on Deep Web searching. Then he goes into the dark web and he goes into, oh shit, no. I'm too scared to go into all that and look and creep around on the dark web. Hell no. No. See, like, Brian comes off a little bit paranoid to me. I mean, you can tell, like he said he said so on his live that like his wife has more balls than him, like seriously. And I don't mean that offensively. That's how us Pisces are. Like, we don't get scared. It's hard. I get hard to explain. Like how I went out there, how for example, how I went out there and talked to Fred, and like a lot of people were scared, and I didn't understand why. I've been begging people to talk to him, and I just didn't understand why. I'm a Pisces, and I see that in her. She has less fear than him, for sure. He's a little bit paranoid. But that's odd to me, that I thought he liked debunking conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And it's probably why he was on the dark web, but like I would be scared to access that. Today, isn't Tiffany gone? First person to be banned from Google? Now that I know that about the dark web, I think I hear his daughter's into some devil worship. Yeah, but that came from Benny too, right? No, you're good, sunshine. He doesn't think people burning people is good anymore like he once did. Said burning people. Does that mean cremation? Is he talking about cremation? I'll have to watch it. And Shannon Life Path. I don't know how somebody gets banned from Google. Maybe trying to access the dark web and stuff. I don't think so. Surely he was smart enough to freaking change his VPN and stuff like that. Yeah, dark web is basically hell. Worshippers on Light Hollow Road. Fred happened to be involved in his lying. I wouldn't regret believing him up until this point because I don't have a reason to not believe. That's why I've wanted people that I don't want the responsibility of people like believing in Fred because they believe in me. You know what I mean? I don't want that responsibility. Just, that's why I ask people, please, like, go with your own opinion and why I play these calls. And so you can hear them for yourself. Because I want you guys to make your own opinion. I want you guys to see what I see. Hear, you know what I mean? And see why I feel the way I do. Instead of just hear it from me. I want to show you. I agree, Jane. So you can ask Fred about his relationship with the Bernards and Andy, grown up history. They're kin, but never clear the contact. Yeah, I have asked them about that, and it's on like the first or second interview call. But I know it's a lot to look through. He does talk about that. They didn't really grow up together. Really, like they weren't ever really close, but he did. Like Fred was telling me, Theta. Okay, so the 125 is actually, Fred was telling me, is actually Polly's family home. So it comes from Polly's side of the family. And Polly's side of the family, I'm trying to think, is actually, yeah, it's her side of the family that is related to Fred. Because Polly, her sibling, Okay, let's see. Polly Smith, or what's her? No, Polly. I'm trying to remember. I think she's like a sibling. They're related through Polly. Now Fred has been up there, like he said, he was up the last time he was up on 125 was he said about 6 months before Summer went missing, and he also said he was hardly ever up there or whatever. But yeah, growing up they weren't close. But he did Theta or whatever was like his would be his like his I believe like his like aunt or something, Fred's aunt, which is Polly's mom, I believe. And so Fred used to go up there to visit Theta, however you say it. And she used to watch which Fred still swears they call him Little Drew, or called him Drew, or Little, or Andy Jr. He's still, even when I say Damien still to this day, he's still like, I don't understand why they say Damien. Like, nobody calls him that, is what he said. But anyways, Laura and him told me that basically Theta, like raised, or Theta, she raised mainly, for the most part, Damien. And they've told me stories of him, like he would bite her until he drew blood. Like, he would make her bleed. He said that Damien was like a devil child. That's what he called him. He said he would bite. It wasn't just like he would bite her. He would like clench down till she would be blood would come out. He would pick up things and hit her with it and whack her with it. And this is when he was very young, though, of course. But, you know, who knows? He had to have been seeing some kind of bad behavior. Because he was supposedly he was very abusive to his grandmother. Oh, thank you, Sunshine. With the name of it like that, I know. Isn't Damien that's what I was thinking too. That's why I was telling Fred. I was like, matter of fact, isn't Damien kind of like a name for, like, isn't that why do I feel like that's a devil name or something? No offense, anybody, but isn't there some kind of, like, why am I thinking that? It is? Okay, the movie Omen. Okay. Andy is an only child. Movie Devils. Omen the movie. Okay. Well, see, you guys, this is just so many weird things. Like, you know, with there's smoke, there's fire. You know how I've always told you that I really feel like Jody Sue is a devil worshiper. And I mean, I'm sorry. That's just I've always felt like that. I've always had that feeling. And then, you know, when I learned his name was Damien and stuff, and just how I saw the backyard of, like, you guys, it's not like just one thing made me feel it. Just, and the stuff that she would talk about, and yeah. I know, little Dev. her brother's friends were into that stuff. Who's her brother? Oh, that's right. Her brother passed away. Okay, yeah, that's right. She did have a brother. That's right. I remember that. Forgot about him because, see, there's so much that's been happening. Do you know her brother's friends or something, Brenda? You feel it too. It's weird, dark energy in the way. I know. I swear, you guys. I pray and I'm like, and I make sure, like, just in case there's a God or I believe there is, and I believe there's something greater than us. I do, but in case that devil worship or that freaking dark magic shit is real or they can cast spells, I make sure I pray up and like seriously, especially since I always have, but especially since I started YouTube, because I don't know what kind of like weird spells people are casting on me. Right? I know. It's whatever. I haven't said anything hateful to you, Carl. You can't judge me because of people in the, what somebody in the comments says to you. And I'm not going to referee either. Sorry. I don't get involved in people's like back and forth. So you can be mad at me all you want, but I just ignore it. That's how I've always been. I have my own shit to deal with. Dark magic come back threefold. I would think so. Well, thank you, Marlene. I won't. It'll be fine. It will be fine. And like I said, I'm not going to keep like rehashing this, okay? I don't want people to freaking be, I'm not trying to like start like a cancel Ryan thing at all. Yeah, Sage. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to bed because I'm gonna try to get up like early because I'm gonna have to try to hopefully get a hold of the bank early. Hopefully take care of that situation because otherwise it will be after Christmas if it's not done tomorrow. So thank you guys so much, and good night, everybody.